The state of tonight's program is proudly brought to you by the people at Telstra, who have absolutely messed up my life. So, I mean, can you imagine how hard it is to do a television program, a news program, when you have no access to the internet and no television, no telephone? That's what's been happening to me over the last couple of days. So, look, it's absolute chaos tonight. We have no idea what's happening. Anything could happen. So, roll tapes at home, get your lawyers ready. Anything could happen and probably will. Hey, I'll tell you one thing that we do have coming up. We've got an opportunity for you to win one of four passes to the Southern Classic, which is happening this weekend up at the Broadford Motorcycle Complex. Probably the biggest historic motorcycle event in the state. It's a great weekend. We'll have more about that in the news coming up. Also, we'll have all the news about what's happening with the Gold Coast Super GP, which is not a GP anymore and is far, far from super. Also, we're going to catch up with an absolute legend, probably the legend of Australian motorsport. He's the 3 times World Formula One champion, Sir Jack Brabham. We're going back in time, way back before the dawn of television even, but we were there somehow, and we're going to show you that a little bit later on. But coming up now, look, Jane isn't with us again this week. We're not sure what happened to Jane. She was, if you recall in our previous episode, Jane was kidnapped by the Liberal Party in order to become their new leader. Well, we saved her, but we think they've taken her back again. So Jane won't be here for a couple of weeks, but filling in admirably will be the shiny, happy face of Naomi Davis and the In Pit Lane Motorsport News.
Thanks, Brett. The political fallout over the Gold Coast A1GP fast continues with the Queensland State Opposition Leader, John Paul Langbroek, calling on Premier Anna Bligh to sack Sports Minister Phil Reeves. Mr Langbroek cited 3 examples when members of the opposition had asked Mr Reeves about the financial security of the A1GP. He said that there had been a number of occasions where the minister had clearly misled the Parliament. Mr Reeves announced Saturday that A1GP organisers could not deliver the cars on time for next weekend's race, a fact known by most people within motorsports ranks for over 6 weeks. Mr Langbroek said that A1GP debacle had impacted badly on the state's image and could severely impact on their planned Commonwealth Games bid. The Queensland State Government has said it will take legal action in an attempt to recover the $1.8 million of taxpayers' money paid to A1GP chairman Tony Teixeira. Faced with the loss of the A1GP, the V8 supercars take over for the event. The cars will now run 4 150-kilometre races, 2 on each day. Added to the event will be an Aussie Legends race, featuring stars of the past in some of the country's most famous cars. Some of these scheduled to appear include Dick Johnson, Kevin Bartlett, John French, Glenn Seton and Colin Bond. Most of the field will come from the collection of well-known Queensland collector David Bowden, who will supply 10 of the proposed 12-car field. Cars to appear include Alan Moffat's famous Coca-Cola Mustang, Norm Beachley's Monaro, Peter Jerrigan's Super Falcon, Kevin Bartlett's Channel 9 Camaro, Peter Brock's A9X Tirana, and Dick Johnson's True Blue Falcon XD, all valued well in the excess of $1 million each, but in real terms, priceless. Other support categories have had extra races and laps added over the weekend. For those who thought that the Indy cars weren't a popular feature of the Gold Coast race, or that the crowd only came for the V8 supercars, think again. With the withdrawal of the international open wheel class, both corporate bookings and accommodation rates for the event have plummeted. A search of the website hotelclub.com showed 157 Gold Coast hotels with available rooms, many at heavily discounted prices. Corporate hospitality is down by around 40%, although organisers are blaming the global financial crisis rather than any doubts over the race. Here in Victoria, however, we know how to run a great event. It might lose over $40 million a year, but at least the cars turn up. The annual MotoGP at Phillip Island doesn't lose anywhere near as much, but if you ask any of the 50,000 plus crowd who attended last Sunday, it was worth every cent to see local hero Casey Stoner top off a remarkable comeback.
Casey Stoner was on pole, but it was Honda's Danny Pedrosa who led the field away in the Australian MotoGP at Phillip Island. Championship contender Jorge Lorenzo's race was soon over. He came together with Nicky Hayden at turn 1. Hayden managed to continue, but Lorenzo's race and championship hopes were gone. Stoner wasted little time in passing Pedrosa, outbraking the Honda into turn 4. Rossi also went past the Spaniard over the top of Lukey and down into MG. James Toseland was given a ride-through penalty for a jumped start, but the Englishman was far from impressed about it. Rossi tried hard, but today was Casey's day as he held on to take his third straight Australian MotoGP from Rossi and Pedrosa.
All weekend we've been struggling so much, but no, we were so happy. I got out in front and I was able to just keep reeling laps in and off, and then Valentino caught up. I was trying to keep that sort of half-second gap, and a couple of seagulls were in my way, so I've ducked. Had to miss another one on the track, and so he caught up, and then I just decided to back the pace off, see how quick Danny and them were going. I saw they were catching us, sort of put the pace up again, and just tried to hold it from there. But yeah, I made a couple of mistakes, not too many, and the bike was just working well, and you know, stoked to win 3 from 3 in my hometown.
It was a big weekend for Australians abroad, with Jason Crump adding another World Speedway Championship to his already impressive resume. In Brazil, the two-wheel victories clearly inspired another Aussie to do great things.
Hometown hero Rubens Barrichello got off to an ideal start in last Sunday's Brazilian Grand Prix. Mark Webber held out the fast-starting Ferrari of Kimi Raikkonen to stay in second place, but the two touched, breaking the Finn's front wing. Heikki Kovalainen spun the McLaren when he came together with the Ferrari of Giancarlo Fisichella. Back in the field, things were a bit hectic as the cars of Adrian Sutil and Jarno Trulli came together, sending Trulli into the fence at high speed. Sutil slid back onto the track and right into the path of Fernando Alonso. Trulli was less than impressed with Sutil's tactics and had no hesitation in telling the young German all about it. Raikkonen pitted to replace his broken nose cone, but found himself caught up in the drama of Kovalainen's McLaren, which took off early, taking the fuel hose with him. Button was storming through the pack, but he had his hands full with an impressive Kobayashi in his first Grand Prix for Toyota. Webber took the lead after Barrichello pitted, and some quick work from the Red Bull racing team had the Aussie out again in first place. A puncture late in the race cost Rubens Barrichello any chance of a home race victory and his chance at the world title.
The other side of the garage can surely start to believe.
Mark Webber went on to win from Robert Kubica, who gave BMW Sauber their second podium in their final year of racing. Lewis Hamilton stormed through from 18th on the grid to take third. But the big winner was Jenson Button, whose 5th position was enough to sew up the 2009 World Drivers' Championship with 1 race to go.
It's all now out in the open.
We are the champions, my friends.
Crazy race, that one. When we return, you're in for a big surprise. It'll be a big surprise to us too, so it'll probably scare the shit out of you. That's when In Pit Lane returns after these messages.